Robin Williams had one of the greatest careers for an actor of all time, and undoubtedly left his mark on the hearts of everyone who watched his films. He was able to remarkably walk the line between comedy acting and really serious roles, and it just made every audience member who watched him feel really warm. So when he got cast as the president, it all worked out, right? Man of the Year came out in 2006 and was written and directed by Barry Levinson. Levinson's also responsible for Wag the Dog, Rain Man, and Good Morning Vietnam, all great films that are really well received critically. It's also worth noting that it's not his first time working with Robin Williams. They've worked together before, notably on Good Morning Vietnam. The plot of the film is pretty simple. Robin Williams is a satirical news host akin to Jon Stewart named Tom Dobbs. His audience loves him because he's charismatic and funny, and those are all the reasons we love Robin Williams, and they kind of push him into running for president. At first, he kind of just shrugs it off, he ignores it, but eventually is goaded into it and decides he's going to do it. What follows is his campaign, which consists of being overly honest about the person he is, trying to prove a point about how he feels about politicians generally. At the same time, we're introduced to a woman named Eleanor Green, who works for Delacroix, which is a company that sends out all of the machines for voting in elections. She discovers that they aren't reporting correct results and reports it to her boss, James Hemmings, who ultimately ignores it. Dobbs, at the same time, takes the campaign very seriously, despite trailing so heavily to other candidates, and eventually gets to the debate scene, where he gets so frustrated and reverts to his on-camera persona.
It's not your talk show, Mr. Dobbs.
And you're not on your private plane flying to the golf vacation you took with the three heads of the major oil corporations.
Well,
I wondered how did you get there?
It's like something I never saw before.
Mr. Dobbs, you have to return to your
Oh, yeah, that's a
podium.
blimp. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Mr.
no
Dobbs.
smoking in the hydrogen. Boom! Hindenburg. Okay.
Mr. Dobbs,
Well, no, I'm just
please,
saying.
please
Of
let's
course
return.
it's for hydrogen. It's going to take 30 years to develop, and meanwhile, we still haven't got any more fuel efficiency. We're not exploring alternative fuels like methane. I know it's hard to do, holding that chicken over the gas tank.
When Election Day rolls around, Dobbs wins in the 13 states that he's on the ballot in, which leads to him getting enough electoral college votes to take the office of the president. It's later revealed the machines were broken in such a way that the winner would be revealed as whoever had double letters in their names in alphabetical order of those double letters. So Dobbs beats Kellogg, who was another candidate, who beats Mills because Kellogg has two G's in it. The movie then shifts its focus entirely. It's less about Robin Williams as president and more about Laura Linney's Eleanor Green trying to get away from Delacroix agents as she tries to inform the newly elected president about the results of the election and see how he's going to handle that and what he's going to do. Throughout the movie, she gets attacked on multiple occasions, accused of having drug problems to get her fired, framed as having attempted to fix the election by Dobbs' team, and hit by a car. In between all this, we see bits of Robin Williams being a goofy president.
In terms of appointments, there are roughly 7,000 to 8,000 slots to be filled.
Just off the top of my head, I was thinking Bruce Springsteen as Secretary of State.
A joke.
Joke. Little one.
Eventually, they do meet each other, and Dobbs is ultimately just smitten with her and tries to hear her out on what she's saying. When he does eventually get the full story, he decides to announce that he will no longer be accepting the role of president in the most perfect fashion ever on Saturday Night Live.
Today, I was in the Oval Office on a preparatory meeting, and I sat behind the president's desk, and I had a reality check. It kind of overwhelmed me. I sat there and went, wait a minute. I'm a jester. A jester doesn't rule the kingdom. He makes fun of the king. And for a brief moment, I thought, I could be the president of the United States. I thought I was president of the United States till Eleanor talked to me.
They work so hard in this movie to make Robin Williams a joke, but he could have done so well as an actual movie president. So for Man of the Year, the best comparison would probably have to be Michael Douglas in The American President. It's a rom-com about a widowed president who falls in love with a lobbyist named Sidney Ellen Wade. Michael Douglas plays Andrew Shepard, the most presidential name you could possibly have, and does so in a really elegant way. Douglas's character is funny, but not overindulgent in the comedy, being able to balance the comedic side of his character with the more presidential side. Through him, we could see three must-haves for on-screen presidents. One is they need to have charisma. In every scene with Michael Douglas, he owns the room as the president. They need to be relatable. In the most cliche way, a likable president needs to be someone you feel comfortable just having a beer with. And lastly, and most importantly, a good president needs a good speech with some cheesy one-liners. Whether it's Michael Douglas in The American President,
And you wave an old photo of the president's girlfriend, and you scream about patriotism. You tell them she's to blame for their lot in life. And you go on television, and you call her a whore. Sidney Ellen Wade has done nothing to you, Bob. She has done nothing but put herself through school, represent the interest of public school teachers, and lobby for the safety of our natural resources. You want a character to debate, Bob? You better stick with me, because Sidney Ellen Wade is way out of your league.
Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact.
Cities fall, but they are rebuilt. And heroes die, but they are remembered. We honor them with every brick we lay, with every field we sow, with every child we comfort, and then teach to rejoice in what we have been re-given. Our planet, our home. So now, let us begin.
Or Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
They all have a monologue that asserts their role at some point. Robin Williams is afforded some of these luxuries. He's charismatic in his own right, and will be regardless of the material. And Tom Dobbs is relatable in that he wants honesty and promises to deliver on that in his own right, which is weirdly foreboding for the events of the last 5 years. The one thing he doesn't really have is a speech all to his own. He's never able to assert himself in the role because he's never really given the role of president in the film. Rather, he's made the butt of the joke and is kind of just there as the president to use as some goofy gags in between ultimately what's a political thriller of Eleanor Green running from Delacroix agents. You can make an argument that by stepping down, he does the good and honest thing, but even when he does step down, he's just affirming his role as a comedian rather than a president. He steps down on SNL. All in all, Man of the Year is a mess, and it's being given some sort of life because, as always, Robin Williams does his absolute best with the material he's given in the role of Tim Dobbs. But it frustrates me that he was never given a real chance to be an on-screen president because I think he would have done it so well if he was given a role like Michael Douglas had in The American President. And I wholeheartedly believe he would have done a better job than him. Again, I want to reiterate, Robin Williams is often acknowledged for his comedy acting, but never for his really dramatic performances, where he frequently delivers some of the best speeches in films. He's got great monologues. So take, for example, Good Will Hunting, in the park scene where Robin Williams' character talks to Will about life and the importance of lived experience.
If I ask you about women, you probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help. I ask you about love, you probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable.
Or a scene from Dead Poets Society, where he convinces his class about the importance of poetry to us as people.
But poetry, beauty, romance, love, These are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "O me, O life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, what good amid these, O me, O life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse." What will your verse be?
These scenes are profoundly impactful, not only because of the words being written, but also because of the delivery being so spot on that you're so in tune to what he's saying and immediately connecting with it. Of course, there's a reason why he's a once-in-a-generation actor, but I feel like having casted him as a president in any circumstance other than Man of the Year would have been a no-brainer. For the record, I'm not forgetting about Night at the Museum. I think he's great as Teddy Roosevelt. I just think it would have been nice to get a film where he's not playing a wax president. Robin Williams will always be one of my favorite performers. I don't think he'll ever be rivaled in that regard. He just brings something really unique to his performances that can't be denied. While I would have loved to see him fill the shoes of someone akin to Andrew Shepard, Williams still has a huge, diverse body of work that's arguably some of the best in filmmaking.